Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, and Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to all the Akim and the sincere Akwath who may be listening. It's your brother Batakallah Yahweh from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And we're going to get right into it. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. All right? So, right off the bat, it's letting you know that if the Lord calls you and decides to allow you to answer the call and to come serve him, that you're going to be dealing with a lot of tribulation, especially when you're dealing with people in the world and the various tests that you got to go through to prove yourself. You know, like the scriptures say, gold is tried in the fire, and men in the furnace of affliction, roughly paraphrasing Salakia. Okay. And the scriptures also say that a servant is not better than his master. All right. And Yahweh Shai had to go through all types of trials and tribulations, up to and including getting put to death on the cross in a very disrespectful and heinous fashion. But it was all to prove and to redeem us and to give us a chance to prove ourselves to the Lord. All right. Verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. All right, so you can't be in that woe is me spirit, man, when you going through it. All right, because all of these trials and tribulations that we go to ultimately are to make us better and to make us into who we need to be to represent Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to the fullest. All right. And a lot of times when you make haste while you're going through something or while you're doing something or while you're learning something, you know, you miss the lesson because you're so focused on getting out or getting it over with, and you don't receive the substance that you're supposed to receive. All right. And all these trials and tribulations that we go through are to bring us closer to the Lord and to prove us and to make us better at serving the Lord. So it's important that we pay attention, not just to the situation around us, but to what we might have done to bring it upon ourselves. And even if you feel like you didn't do anything, you know, and you just suffered wrongfully, it's still something that can be learned, you know, from the people around you or just from the situation at hand. All right. Verse 3. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. All right. So you're supposed to double down. And you're supposed to have even more faith in the Lord when you're going through trials and tribulations, all right? And a big thing that Jake do when things start going bad is that they want to get that spirit that Job's wife had on her, and they want to curse the Lord, man. And you got to understand something. The Lord is the one who brings the trials and tribulations onto you, and he's the one who delivers you from the trials and tribulations. You cursing the Lord is not going to do anything but make it worse for yourself, all right? And Lord forbid you put the Lord, you curse the Lord and blaspheme the Lord, and then you get left down here when the chariots come back because you wanted to be in a woe is me spirit when you was really being uplifted. It just wasn't comfortable at the moment. All right. You supposed to, like I said, you're supposed to, or not like I said, like the scriptures say, you're supposed to double down. You're supposed to cleave unto the Lord. You're supposed to cleave unto his ways when things ain't going good in your life. That's when you really prove that you really are about what you say you about, and that you possess what you professing, you know, which is faith in the Lord and loyalty to the Lord. All right. Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon you, take cheerfully. Salaki, whatever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. All right. So like the scripture is saying, man, and like I had mentioned earlier, when you in these situations where you're being brought down, it's really to teach you so that when you come back up, you can be in a better position. You can have more knowledge. You can have more wisdom. You can have more faith in the Lord first and foremost. That's the most important thing, is for your faith to be increased. All right. And, you know, I don't know how brothers pray or what brothers pray for, but I personally pray that the Lord increases my faith and doesn't take my faith away from me. And when you pray for things like that, you got to understand that the Lord is going to put you in situations where you got to have faith And that's because that's the only thing that's going to get you out. And situations like that are not usually things that are comfortable when you're going through it. All right. But just like anything else in this world, when you want to get better or you want to build up, you have to go through suffering. You have to go through struggle to get there. All right. And that's why you got to be patient when you change to a lower state, and you got to take it cheerfully, because you have to know that this is your opportunity to get better. All right. And when you patient while you in the lower state, you can really focus on getting better. You can focus on what happened, why it happened, what you can do better. All right. What those around you were doing, etc., etc. How you can be a better servant to the Lord. How you can increase your faith. All right. Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Like I quoted it earlier, that's just how it is, man. You're going to have to go through it to get to it. Nothing that's great is being given for free. All right. If that was the case, then nobody would be doing the work, because they would already know that they was of the elect, and it'd just be a party until the Lord came back. All right. Verse 6. Believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. All right. And that's the deal. You got to believe that whatever you're going through, the Lord is putting you through it to make you better, and that it's not to destroy you. All right. And a wise man once told me that bad times are a good thing, and not just bad times, but anything that happens to you in your life is a good thing, as long as you're left alive and are able to go forward, and you haven't been maimed or crippled or anything, but, first and foremost, that you left alive, because there's certain individuals that may have to go through being maimed or being crippled or whatever the case may be, but still, they that'll still be a man of the Lord. They'll still be they'll still be able to be a man of the Lord and please the Heavenly Father, and make it to the kingdom on the first go round. All right. Ultimately, you just gotta be thankful that you're still alive and you still got a chance, and that you want to and that you sincerely want to get better, so that you can improve. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12, and verse 5. And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of Yahweh, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. All right, so once again, when you're going through whatever you're going through that may seem hard or is hard, or if you're getting rebuked or whatever it is, you gotta take it cheerfully, man. And you can't become bitter with the Lord. You can't become bitter with the men that's rebuking you, etc., etc., because then you're not going to improve. Then you're going to just curse the Lord and blaspheme against the Lord, and then real bad things are going to start happening in your life. All right. You gotta take things for what they're worth, and you gotta understand that everything is an opportunity to improve. Like I said earlier, if you're not dead, and especially if you're not dead or maimed or crippled or anything like that, man, everything is for your betterment, and everything is for you to get better. So, and you can bounce back from anything. The Lord can change your situation in a second, but it's all about the attitude that you have while you're going through your trials and tribulations. All right, verse 6. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. All right, so if the Lord is rebuking you and putting you through trials and tribulations, and putting you in situations where you got to suffer to get better, that means that the Lord loves you, man. If the Lord didn't love you, he'll leave you out here like Esau and just let you keep doing wicked shit and wicked shit and wicked shit and wicked shit. And then in the day of judgment, when your wickedness has reached its fullest, he'll just take you out, and you'll have to go through that nuclear fire and deal with whatever else he got for you leading up to that as well. All right. And then if you're an Israelite, you got to come back to the kingdom and have your head held low for an undisclosed amount of time, because you didn't want to get right. Verse 7. If ye endure chastening, Yahweh dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? All right. So for those of you who have fathers or had a father in your life, your father, if he was hard on you, it's because he cared and he wanted you to be better, and he wanted you to have an understanding of how things were in this world, and to show you that it's consequences to the things you do, and if you're not on point, you're going to have to pay the consequences. All right. So if our parents in the flesh do that to us in a carnal sense, how much more the Lord, man? How much more the creator of all things, the person who really created you, not just the person who, you know, reproduced with another person to create to so that your flesh could be created on this plane and you could be born, but the real creator, the one that created your spirit and your body, and sent you down here every time you came down here and created everything and anything in your life and etc. How much more you think that he cares, man? All right. Verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? And like I said, you know, people will have respect and reverence for their carnal parents or their parents in the flesh or whatever you want to call it. But but when things go wrong, they'll want to curse the Most High, or have a sour, bitter attitude or disposition towards the Lord. And you know, how does that make sense when the Lord created not just you, but created your parents, they parents, they parents, they parents, they parents, etc., all the way through. All right, and sent you down to live however many lives that each of us have lived individually. The Lord is the one that sent you down here to do that and created your spirit for that from the beginning. So if you're going to have reverence and love and you're going to rejoice in the things that your earthly parents do, how would you not have the same reverence for the Lord who created your spirit and everything else? Not just that, but everything else. All right. Verse 10. For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure, but he of our profit, that we might be partakers of his holiness. All right. So the Lord, he chastens you because he wants you to be, he wants you to partake in what he has for you, man, and what he has for all of us Israelites. All right. Now, is everybody going to be able to make it on this first go round? Absolutely not. All right. 2/3 are not going to make it. And then when I say 2/3, I mean 2/3 of Israel are not going to make it. All right. But just because certain individuals are not going to make it doesn't mean that the Lord doesn't chasten them and give them an opportunity. All right. And you gotta be careful, because you can be one of those people, especially once you become privy to this truth. And, you know, we at a point in time now where really don't nobody got no excuses no more, with all of the things and all of these celebrities coming out and saying certain things, etc. You know, nobody got an excuse anymore. Everybody knows that's an Israelite, who the real Israelites are. And everybody knows that it's stipulations that come with that, man. And not just because of these celebrities, but first and foremost because the Lord put the spirit on the men of the Lord to go and hit the highways and byways for as long as they've been doing it, decades. All right. So nobody got no excuses no more, man. You either gonna get right or you gonna get left. But guess what? The Lord is a fair and merciful power, man. He's gonna give all Israelites an opportunity to get their mind right, and whatever you do with that is on you. And you're going to have to deal with the consequences of whatever your actions were. All right. Verse 11. Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. And that's just letting you know that the Lord is not irrational, man. The Lord is not. The Lord understands who you are and how we think in general as people. And how people are going to feel when certain things happen, because he created us, man. All right. So it lets you know, yeah, you know, when you're going through certain things, it's not going to be cool. It's not mandatory that you have a Coke and a smile when you're going through everything that you're going through. That's just not realistic. All right. But you still got to have faith in the Lord, and you still got to put the Lord first. And pray to the Lord and hope that the Lord help you out and continue to carry out all of the requirements that the Lord has set in place for us while you're going through what you're going through. All right. Because you're not going to one up the Lord by deciding that you don't want to do what's required because you're going through certain things. The only thing that you're going to do is make your situation worse. All right. And that could ultimately result in you getting cooked in nuclear fire. And you don't want to deal with that. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the book of Micah, chapter 6 and verse 4. For I brought thee up out of the land of Egypt and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. All right. And this is just a reminder, that when we in the lower state, man, the Lord understands what you're going through and what you're dealing with. All right. And when the time comes for those to get rescued from their lower state that rightfully have earned to be brought up and have earned to be given relief, the Lord is going to send the things that are needed to give you that relief and to get you out of that, man. All right. When we were in Egypt, Egypt was like how America is today at the time. All right. The preeminent power on the planet. And it didn't look like it was no way that we was ever going to get away from them, man. Pharaoh wasn't trying to let us go. We didn't have any type of real arm. We didn't have no army. We didn't have nothing. We were just slaves, just like we are now here. All right. And guess what? Out of nothing, the Lord gave us everything. He sent Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, and they, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, they guided us out of Egypt, man. Okay, so if the Lord to do that, then whatever little situations that you're dealing with as an individual, you gotta know that the Lord will give you your rest from that said situation in due time when it's time for him to deliver you from that. But you gotta have faith. All right. And that's the last one, and then we're gonna close it out, Lord willing. Salakia. What was that, 23? Okay. This Psalms chapter 136 and verse 23. All right. Who remembered us in our low estate, for his mercy endured. Salakia, let me read up one. All right. Salakia, let me go up one more. I'll start at 21. This Psalms 136 and verse 21. And gave their land for an heritage, for his mercy endureth forever. All right. Even an heritage unto Israel his servant, for his mercy endureth forever. Who remembered us in our lower estate, for his mercy endureth forever. All right, and this is speaking about Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. He's the one that delivered us from all of these things and gave us all of these things. He gave us our heritage. He gave us our land. All right, he's always been there with he's been there when we've been going down, when we've been down in every situation, every captivity. All right, the Lord was right there with us. But we had to go through our chastisement and our punishment and take the rebuke that we was given for the things that we did. All right, but every captivity up to this point, the Lord it came to a certain point in time where the Lord decided that we had enough, and we was delivered from that. And the same thing is going to happen here, except this time when it happened, it's going to be the last time, because the Lord is going to put all the laws, statutes, and commandments in our new bodies, and we're not going to go off no more, man. All right. Verse 24, and hath redeemed us from our enemies, for his mercy endureth forever. Who giveth food to all flesh, for his mercy endureth forever. O give thanks unto the power of heaven, for his mercy endureth forever. All right. You got to be thankful to the Lord, man. When you up, and definitely when you down, especially when you down, because that's when you really show who you really are, man. It's a saying in the world where you don't know if somebody is your friend until you're not doing good, or until bad things happen for you, or until you can't do something for them. Then you know who your real friends are. All right. And it's the same thing with us, man. The Lord, Yahweh Shai, refer to us as friends, man. And the only way to prove a friend is to see how that friend is going to act in a lower state. Okay. So with that being said, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, no mixing it to fix it. Shalom to all the Akim and a few Akwat who may be listening. Until next time, Lord willing, shalom.